Heather McDonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Whoop whoop. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. I have one of your favorites, Pratt Daddy of two, Spencer Pratt. Welcome back to Juicy Scoop.
Thank you so much for having me back, and congrats on all the just amazing success. It's just killing the whole game. It makes me so happy.
Let's get into it. Have you seen this viral video? We are going to play it. I'm going to tell you, it's the BAFTAs, which is like the Oscars for England, okay? And this girl, I didn't really know who she was, but her name's Ariana. Anyway, she was in West Side Story. So I don't know if she was the full host, but she got to do this thing. And I'm just going to, if you haven't heard it, I'm just going to play it for you.
I've not seen anything.
All right. So she's trying to do a little fun thing for the awards. Okay, it continues, and it is actually in my head because I was watching it, but it just reminds me of something I would do like for my senior talent show in high school, like putting together like a dumb rap and trying to write something, and it's horrible. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, obviously they had her do this, right? She didn't like wing that, right?
Well, the director now, it sounds like he sort of is putting it on her. Like, I don't get the backlash. We thought it was fun, but it was all her and her team.
Oh, well.
But you still approved it.
I mean.
And she turned off her Twitter or removed her Twitter. She couldn't take the comments. And look, I feel bad for her that she tried to do this thing. And I get it. She was like, oh, let me point out people in the audience the way, people do at the Oscars and stuff. But it's such a thankless job. And it's like the rap didn't really go and she's out of breath because unlike all the other performers that sing and dance who are mouthing, it is hard when you're running around and you're not doing a song you've done 100 billion times. You wrote it last night. It was just.
Well, I had never heard of her until this. So I'm back to she upstaged all of the BAFTAs. And,
that's true. No one who cared about the BAFTAs till this. It's all good.
And I wouldn't have deleted my Twitter. I would have been tweeting links to my album, just like.
Yeah, I don't know that she has an album.
Oh, she's
like
not
an
a rapper.
No, she was in West Side Story. So she's like a song and dance actress or whatever. Like she can do a musical, but I don't think she's like a performer. But you're right. Nobody knew who she was before.
And now I'll never forget her.
Yeah.
Ariana DeBose. I always go back to, in this day and age, if you can get any attention from these things, it's a win.
Yeah. So. You're right. Good point. It was just amazing.
And I like her dress.
She's cute, hot pink dress. Good for her.
I think it's a win.
You could play. What she should do now is go and make some
the single,
make some talk show things, some rounds on talk shows, and laugh at yourself and be like, okay, I did kind of cry about it because I worked on it for like, a couple weeks. I couldn't take it, so I just turned everything off. I went away for the weekend, and now let's do it. And then she should do like one for Jimmy Kimmel, just as bad, and be like, talk about his band guy or Guillermo or whatever. And then she should do one for Jimmy Fallon, and she should just be like, who gives a shit? And everyone will love her for it.
100%, like right now.
Right now before it's too old.
Yeah, and then you're actually just known as that.
Listen, if you're friends with her, give her this podcast and give her, because we want her. We know she's talented, and
we know you can't tweet her, so maybe DM her.
Okay. Did you watch the South Park?
I have not got to watch. This is like I'm an alien from Mars right now. I'm so excited to get all my news and my scoops right now from you.
So I talked about it on Tuesday's show about this South Park episode where I got to watch it, and it is so funny. So they do this thing where they say the prince and his Instagramming bitch-loving wife of Canada And it's like it looks like them and everything, but it's just like those weird South Park voices. They're not trying to like do their voices or anything. Are on their privacy tour and they go around, we want our privacy, and they're doing chalk shows. And they end up taking their private jet to South Park and moving across the street from the main guy and being super wanting them to keep noticing them and everything. And it's hilarious. And so this was so funny. So I screen grabbed this one photo, which was so then them as a couple paste all of her magazine covers on their door because they want their privacy.
Literally our house. This is Spidey's house right here. For real. I'll send you a photo.
And it says the princess's anus is one cover, the princess from TV to royalty. I mean, it is so funny. They're on the cover of Time, Vanity Fair, People, Newsweek, The Cut. I mean, anyway, it's very funny. They're now saying, at first it was like there were rumors that they were going to sue. Now their reps are saying, no, they're not, probably because they listened to Juicy Scoop. And I was like, don't even try to do that. Again, just like the Ariana girl, you should laugh with it. You should be like, who cares? Or don't acknowledge it at all. So I think they're going with the not acknowledging it at all.
Their reps were saying they were going to sue.
There was like, articles written. Yeah. Who knows what's true? Also, her sister suing her. I said this little, I need to recant something. I said the sister was suing, Samantha Markle was suing for $750,000. It's only $75,000. It's so little. I don't even know why
Maybe she just wants a quick payoff. Because you could get that. Like
she's just saying that because of the interview that Meghan Markle did with Oprah, where she talked about Samantha, that she got so many haters for that, and therefore she's entitled to some defamation damages of $75,000.
I feel that.
But she's never going to get it.
I don't know.
And there's no way that she's going to pay her. But anyway. All right. What do you think of the Don Lemon situation?
Usually I'm caught up in scoops.
You don't know about this.
I am like,
okay, I'm going to tell you. So
just sick babies.
So he went on his show, and he has a show on CNN with two female co-hosts. One's 40, one's 30. He doesn't really dig them. Anyway, Nikki Haley, who announced
was this saying she was too old to run for have a baby or something?
In her prime. No, he said so. Nikki Haley is running for governor again. Running for president under the Republican ticket. And I have to say, I never heard of Nikki Haley until now. So she should thank him.
She's in her prime.
But she said people running for president over 75 should have a mental competency test. And he said, who are you to talk about age? Because a woman she's no longer in her prime at 51. Because a woman is in her prime in her 20s, 30s, and maybe her 40s. So
that sounds like if we're going to cancel anybody, I feel like let's get that cancel wagon going here.
He was on a set vacation with his boyfriend. He did a real half-ass apology to the staff, being like, sorry if I hurt you. I have a lot of female friends, so I can't be like anti-woman. He is coming back today, and they said he is going to, learn and think and whatever, get some training about how not to be a dick. I don't know what it is. So he kept saying, well, it's just true. And the co-host was like, what do you mean, for childbirth? No, that in her prime in general. Google it. He kept saying, Google it. So we did Google it. Okay. And it says, when is a woman's prime? This is according to Google, not Safari, Google. A woman's prime is between the ages of 28 and 45. They are busy raising kids, and they are capable of doing what they want. It also said he said, so I don't know whose opinion this is, but this is when you Google when is a woman's prime, this is what comes up, this quote. After that, physical and mental handicaps develop. Her best years come when she achieves religious faith. So that's even more offensive. So, and then the other one said, what's the prime age for a woman? And they said a woman's media and pop culture are major contributors to this narrative of the ages of 30 to 39 are a woman's supposed prime, socially, professionally, physically, sexually, and emotionally. So then it said, what's a man's prime age? And they said 25 to 54 has mostly been, and that he's most attractive at 50, a man is. But a woman's desirability starts high at age 18 and falls throughout their lifespan.
Who's typing these?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. Oh, this was, speaking of just, do a quick, this is the first time I've seen like Leo and like it not being cool to be with like younger women.
We have a Leo topic.
That kind of, I was like, wow, there's been a shift. He must be not liking this.
But I will say, according to this Google thing, there's two of this, the woman's prime is much less time, like 17 years versus 29 years for the guy is his prime. Still, it's Google. What does it mean? I just thought it was funny that I like had to really look up the Google. Okay, I want to talk to you about this. What do you think about Kanye and his new wife? What is happening there? She really does look like Kim here. Sometimes she doesn't, and then other times she does. She has the weird slick back blonde hair, but the face is pretty attractive.
I was spending too much time trying to figure out Kanye once he started sabotaging like $500 million checks a year. So
yeah.
Like I was really trying to think and I was like, oh, there's a plan here. He has to have a plan. And then, you start going back to like, is the plan a mental health thing? Like this is so.
Well, they think now like maybe it is his plan because Hollywood Unlocked, this just came out yesterday, all falls down. Balenciaga, Adidas, and JP Morgan Chase all face troubles after dropping Kanye West. So they're saying the same thing. Was this some type of plan or did the karma just fall in his favor?
He was talking about it. The way it was leading up to it, he was like calling their bluff. Like, I can say anything, they won't drop me. And then he did that tweet and then they like had to drop him. And like he's saying, they dropped me for a tweet. And then you read that Adidas is about to lose $1.7 billion. And no matter what, if he really had beef with them and felt like they were stealing his designs, which he was saying, I mean, in his head, if he does not care about this money and would rather murk out Adidas, it seems like he's not insane. Obviously, I'm not condoning all the commentary, but if he was just saying all this, horrible stuff.
If he knew what he was saying to cut the get the ties cut. I kind of was wondering that too, because I'm like, would he, in the end, or like, in a couple of years or even less, if he's able to do all these shoes without a partnership, like what if he had full sole ownership, just like Kylie Cosmetics has full sole. You want the full ownership, like you don't want to share it with other people. So I was always wondering that too. What, he must have known this was a bad thing to tweet.
My theory, my hunch is that he filmed this plan. So if he did a documentary of like, I'm going to say, the most offensive things to get out of this contract, da-da-da-da. And then, people will be like, you still said these horrible things, but a lot of people will be like, dang, like he's on next, like in his head, and his fan base will be like, oh, he's a maniacal genius. But he was filming everything. He released that.
Even if he didn't, I hope he's listening to Juicy Scoop and he says this is, because that would save. People would be like, wow, okay. And also just that if that was his story, whether it's true or not, or planned or not, if this became his story, it's like, also what an experiment in our time of history of tweeting and Twitter and like, compared to 100 years ago when someone said something or did something like that, you immediately tweet something at 3 a.m. and it's over. It's over. And
I was having this conversation this morning because it's still like, this is how it haunts my brain because I love money so much. And he just gave up so much of it. So, and I truly said, what, and it's about, all due respect to any Juicy Scoopers that are about the woke life or whatever, but this woke culture that 20 years ago even, there's no company that would sabotage. They know they're going to lose $1.7 billion, mess with the stock, their bonuses, everything, because they know this tweet does not look good. This is a bad look. Yeah, horrible tweet. I'm not, but
right.
I just don't believe this new, we got to react.
But I don't think they thought they would lose that much, don't you?
One thing that seems like what's happening is anytime big companies try to cater to these. I'm not saying it's a small group, but like that, these demands, it seems like they lose business if we're like looking at patterns of, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna start naming companies.
Well, like,
I want to work with them
I don't really
all,
understand why did he lose some? Everyone just stopped wanting to buy the shoes.
but why did he lose what?
I mean, I understand
Oh,
why
no, 'cause
people
they
aren't
have-
going to buy Balenciaga, but like, why is no one buying Adidas anymore? I mean,
because he was
I am
like
wearing
80% of their
Adidas
sales.
I'm wearing Adidas tennis shoes right now that I purchased a solid 2 years ago. No, I guess they're not Adidas. They're Edge Lux.
There
Never
you go.
mind. They're knockoff.
Yeah, no, it was like 80% of the sales was the Yeezy brand.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
and so they're not
okay.
selling any of that, and they have all this product that
Yeah.
they can't. It looks so obviously Yeezy
Yeah.
that they can't rebrand it. And for a second, I thought he was gonna like buy it all from them, but they can't sell it. But yeah, okay.
So then this said that this is from CNN Business. It says lawsuit alleges Jeffrey Epstein sent J.P. Morgan Chase execs photos of young women. So they're saying, is that also part of the J.P. Morgan connection of losing so much money? Allegedly exchanged sexually suggestive emails with a disgraced financier, Jeffrey Epstein, the CEO, did. Some of which included photos of young women, according to newly unsealed passages of the federal lawsuit. I'm surprised CNN Business even shared this because I feel like we're getting nothing on this. Like where are these people? What is going on? But me even mentioning Epstein,
you're canceled right now.
well,
You're like, I will give
It
you
won't-
credit.
it
I
won't
love
aff-
the Juicy Scoop
it will not-
has gone fringe. Like, I don't know. I was telling Heidi the other day, I was like, you're like, I'm not going to say other, people it's not conspiracy, but you've definitely unlocked scoops.
it's not a
Your Juicy
conspiracy.
Scoop.
I mean, there's
No, but there's people that are
people
like-
were convicted
Yeah,
because
no,
of this,
I
and we
know.
just want to know more. But
We just want to know
but
more.
even me mentioning it, like it won't affect my YouTube views because those are subscribers. Please subscribe, everybody, to my YouTube page. It doesn't affect people listening to the podcast. It will affect my TikToks for the next 2 weeks. Just me talking about it right now. I will cut reels for the next 2 weeks and TikToks, and they will get very few views. I don't know why, because if TikTok is run by China, what do they care? I'm very confused.
What's going on with your TikTok views
Yeah.
is they're just like, because now I'm so deep into
Yeah,
TikTok
do tell.
battling
Yeah.
and live streaming, and I talked to so many people who talk to TikTok. What
Yeah.
they're doing, they're adjusting the algorithms right now, and they're like just trying new stuff. So they did change the algorithm you did have, and so it could come back or it may not, but they were giving videos too much juice that they want to like rein it in and like have it more natural, especially with that leak of that like what do they call it? The cook button. You
What's
read
the
about
cook button?
Now I don't know. Now we can't be talking.
What is that?
You didn't see that really? I'm gonna
No.
stop because
Oh, you
my
can't
views
say-
are already down too.
Oh.
There's this other app. There's this other app, not TikTok, but there's another app that it came out that they had I think it was called Cooking It or whatever, where if you had a video and the person that's like your moderator is like, I love Juicy Scoop, they could push that button and they could push that. So like these Addisons that you see their numbers drop, they're not getting cooked anymore. So like Charli D'Amelio's 50 million followers, and now her videos get like 14 million views is like high. Like they turned the cook off of her. So it wasn't this natural, oh my God, everyone loves Addison, she's so sweet and cute. It was like button pushed, you're famous. And no, this was like allegedly revealed by a former employee for this, not TikTok, this different app.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
So it could be somebody
So
loved
what's gonna
you.
happen
So you
to
could have had like a Juicy Scooper that loved you and they got moved to a different account.
But I never got a real amount. It was never like exceeding how many followers I had, except for like 2 videos.
What's also scary is they could be changing to like Google and IG, where now you keep getting that like promote to be seen more.
Oh, okay.
How like they're gonna start trying to monetize that. But no,
Yeah.
all numbers are down because now I'm on TikTok so much with the live stream. People that used to get like 20,000 live viewers are down to like 200. So everything is just kind of. So
all right.
I don't think JP Morgan's coming for your TikTok.
I don't know if it was J.P. Morgan.
But you may have a problem if you're like.
Anyway, speaking of which, Prince Andrew, according to the New York Post just now, Prince Andrew faces eviction from Windsor as King Charles slashes the income report. So they are saying that we know he was stripped from his royal military honors and all that by Queen Elizabeth. Well, last month he was given the boot from Buckingham Palace by his brother, soon to be king, or he is the king, but soon to be the monarchy thing, the crossover, but he is the king. So yeah, they just want nothing to do with this dude because they probably know more's coming down.
Oh, Hunter, I think I always go back to like why Harry bounced so fast. If he knows like what, because once the blood stuff comes out, it's a wrap. Like the adrenochrome level.
What's that?
Come on, don't play.
That they're eating the blood of babies? What are you
allegedly, saying? I don't know if they are, but like that's what the internet would say. So if Harry knows that's true.
I don't think that's true. I think with Harry,
there's a lot of missing babies. That's all I'm saying. A lot of missing babies. The statistics are wild. I mean, maybe these TikToks I see are wrong, but
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to say that, but it's an interesting.
Just throwing that out there.
But with this, I mean, I always thought that he would like kind of say something like that, like in the book.
That Harry's like my uncle is.
Yeah, we were just like so disgusted and and so freaked out, but they didn't because again, that's the father of his cousins and all that. And I kind of get it. And I'm sure if there was anything, it was like, who knows? But with all of this, and also there's stories that she was on the yacht with him and she was a yacht girl and stuff.
Who?
Meghan. And you told me what you thought of Meghan.
Oh, and then it came, in the book, but then somebody messaged me, a Juicy Scooper.
Yeah.
In Harry's book, he like talked about being in a hotel room with like Meghan for like, I don't know.
Oh, it was in the book too? Because last time you were here, I did not understand what you meant when you said, I heard that before Harry, Meghan trapped some, you said
not a negative word.
You said had some girl, that Meghan had some guy in a hotel room for 3 days.
Or a long extended
But
time.
what I thought in my head.
She locked the door.
No, I thought it was like a mind screw Scientology kind of a thing. I did not think that she was like so great in the sack that they didn't leave the room for 3 days willingly. I did not get that until I listened back to you.
Yeah, no.
Back to the show. But when we were talking
I'm pro Meghan.
Yeah, which totally makes sense because now there's been stories where, she gave some young girl a book on like how to catch a guy and would study books like that, whether it was the rules or Men Like Bitches or whatever, which I believe there's a lot of knowledge to learn in love as far as to hook the guy or get the guy to fall in love with you, just like men could read stuff on how to get a girl like you. There is stuff you can learn if it doesn't come naturally to you.
Cosmopolitan has great.
Yeah, facts. I used to read it all the time too.
Cosmo, I would always check those. But yes, in the book, somebody sent me like an excerpt, like a Juicy Scooper in my DM, like, look at this. Like Harry talks about like racing back to get into the hotel. I don't know. They know what I'm talking about. Whoever's read the book or listened to the audio book.
If you can be great at it, good for you.
So back to this.
Yes.
I recently asked my associate who, was major in the tabloid world for 20 years, top heavy hitter. I was like, what is your take on what's going on with Prince Harry and the book? And he's like, I think it's pretty much, this is what he was saying. The book is like a tease. Like it's not blackmail against the monarchy, but it's like, don't play with me. Like this is the warm up. And like it showed how well his books can do. It shows people do care what he says. And it's kind of like, they know what he knows and he's not going there. It looks like, oh, he's breaking up, he's causing all this drama, but they know he's just doing the like, I have my frozen penis stuff, like stuff like that.
That's a great point because, people are like, this going to the BAFTA, speaking of BAFTA, Prince William and Kate went and everyone loved that she like recycled a dress. She like changed it a little and she gave him a little pat on his ass and they were fun and everyone's like, they're just great and they're so classy and they've never said anything, bad about Harry or his book. And that makes a lot of sense in that they're just like, also that's very royal and classy. And of course, they're still invited, I guess, to the monarchy thing in
Coronation,
May.
whatever.
Yeah. And absolutely they should. But I think that makes the most sense of all. That was like, don't fuck. But will they fuck with him, in fact, to get in his good graces again so he doesn't run anymore?
That's what
Will
he's
they
saying. Yeah,
say,
like, let's
like we make up in May or whatever that thing is, and then we say, okay, we do want you and Meghan to do this
Africa outreach
or Australian thing, and you get a little bit. That will be very juicy to see. I mean, who knows? I know everybody wants them as brothers to get along, but it might go. It obviously goes a lot deeper than just two brothers getting along and wanting to have a pint of beer together, you know?
Yeah, in the bigger picture, he hasn't crossed a line that's not, you know. And if you look at it like drama,
Right, and all
it's like, ooh, look at everyone's seeing. He's still uplifting the moniker, and just the way he reacted in that documentary when she kind of mocked the curtsy.
Yes.
He's still like, it shows like I'm still a royal, like
Right, it
you know,
still
like,
means something
this
to me.
don't just, you know, like I'm not
Yeah.
down with, you know. So
And
that
you're
was
right.
it.
I mean, and some of the stuff that was so funny was how not, you know, how ridiculous some of the stuff was. And that's why I was having so much fun joking about it with my two boys, the heir and the spare. And it's just like, your two boys, like, can you imagine, like, you know, 20 years later, being bummed that your brother was like, don't act
king.
like you know me in high school? What, like, that happens so much with siblings, that your sibling was a dick to you growing up, like, and you get over it, you know. And so you're right, but like, that I've never really thought about the fact that it wasn't that juicy for a reason.
And he's got it. I mean, the reality is, if you like, I've deep dive the Diana situation and the tunnel. Like,
Yeah.
if he wanted to go and like say that's all conspiracy, but he really wanted to have a whole chapter about all the stuff that connects to what could happen in the tunnel, what people say
What
happened
could
to her
happen, yeah.
driver, what was going on. Like, he's not going into any of that.
Right.
And bringing that light, which there is so much, it could be all made up, but there's so much stuff. It's like, whoa, that camera is out in the tunnel at that time. And he was driving, like, there's just so much. And who was seen, and the paparazzi weren't there when they said they actually, there's a lot of stuff that if he wanted to just be like, I'm going to deep dive what happened to my mom. Like, let me focus on that. And that's another thing.
Let that be a whole nother book.
Yeah. And then when you get into like his most thing that he fights the royal family the most about, which is almost like, don't play with me, is I want the security. And everyone thinks it's because of like, oh, because Meghan has these stalkers. Like, what if there's the third like conspiracy level? He's like, I know how England plays. I want real guards that, you know, just if he actually knows something that they know he knows of, we're just going, just scoop. Juicy,
I like
juicy.
it. I like it. We can always talk more about it. And then,
Oh, what a surprise.
Balenciaga
Fake
drops their
lawsuit.
$25 million lawsuit against the production company hired in the controversial ad featuring child porn. Of course, because they knew what was going on. Just filing the lawsuit was to get the heat off of them, and they never were going to go through with it because they wanted it, or they were part of it. This was all planned. You don't just do a photo shoot like this. We know that.
I see how this happened, because I'm not going to say what designer store I was in.
Yeah.
But this had kind of just happened. And like the guy I work with there, Heidi, you know, that helps Heidi get her bags or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like talking to him like, oh yeah, I bet nobody's going down the street to Balenciaga. He's like, what? And I was like, you know, with the bears. He's like, oh, what a joke. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, those bears were so cute. I'm like, no, it was the like pedo case documents also with the kids. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, and he like played it like I was like, oh, this is so strange. Let's talk about something else now.
Right.
But I like saw how like, you know, if they're not like how creatives or like people, and he's like, you know, these bears are like part of like this culture we have, and they usually have like big, and I'm like,
Wait, what culture?
Whatever
more.
culture he identifies with, or
Like a furry?
He says these bears are like super part of like what he's into, like not the pedo stuff, God, afraid of God,
but like fashion quote.
I don't know.
Right.
I'm just gonna stop. But he was acting like I was crazy.
Right.
And I was like, whoa.
Well, I also see whatever the case is, it's his livelihood and he loves his job.
Oh,
and,
he didn't work at Balenciaga.
Oh, he didn't leave it.
No, this was a different down the street. And I was trying to like talk smack about.
No, but he was a fashion person.
It's just selling fashion.
Yeah,
It's like,
but
he's
I do kind of see it as anybody in that they weren't going to say anything. Like I saw videos of where someone would go in there and they were acting like they were down to buy something, and then once they had someone helping them, they were like,
"How dare you?"
Yeah, how dare you? Whatever, and the person's just like, I'm sure they had plenty of meanings of like, listen, or either they explain themselves or they're like, don't even play, or this is all going to pass. This is QAnon right-wing Christian Puritan weirdos. And then they're like, yeah, so dumb. Or like, this is homophobic. Whatever they had to tell them.
He was kind of
that this is all homophobic and like not being open to
I was like, no,
sexuality.
it was the pedo like court cases on the table that like took it to the password level for me.
So of course, yeah. But every time I walk by the Balenciaga store, really that's who they should hire for their security is the security guards at the Balenciaga store, because no one's in there. If Harry needs to get some less expensive security.
Oh,
because
it's dead in there?
Every time I go, I like at my mall over here, which is in the Neiman's, mall, I'll just walk by and look and like no one's there. And then the stuff at Neiman's, it's like for sale. And it's like their department has gotten smaller. So I don't know. I definitely, listen, I don't say that it's going to be gone, but I don't see anybody wearing it and buying it recently.
Some juicy scoopers also slid in my DMs. By the way, I appreciate all the DMs, juicy scoopers, but they were like, OMG, Spencer, I know you're like, thank God it wasn't Gucci, but it's owned by the same people.
Right.
But it's like that LVMH group, they own every single thing. So if we're gonna like, I'm only going to be able to wear Kirkland if, if I go along with that. And the good news is I don't fit in any of my Gucci anymore, so I can't wear it anyways.
Alec Baldwin, the charge was dropped in the Rush shooting. So it was a reduced. Let me write. Oh, it was so.
It was the weapon enhancement, I think.
So he wouldn't go to prison for 5 years anymore. It would be less. He's facing charges for involuntary manslaughter and firearms enhancement charge, which would be 5 years. But now the firearm enhancement was dropped. So he's looking at 18 months or less is the most he could get. And the same thing goes for the armorer and who's the girl, Hannah. But he is still facing a lawsuit, obviously, from the victim's parents and her sister. And the movie will resume filming in the spring. I cannot believe that part. And Alec will remain in the movie.
Oh, Hollywood. That's no. I'm sure it's going to be like in loving memory of whatever. It's like.
But I mean, the only thing I'm thinking is finish the movie because people will want to see it. And if they're suing as well, the family, there might be more money if the movie actually finishes. No, so I think it's more about that. Like,
I guess.
Because who would have seen this dumb old Western anyway? I mean,
well,
I wouldn't have been down to see it. Now you're kind of curious.
And I would have watched it.
You should have what?
They should have casted Hilaria in it, and I would have watched
Hilaria?
it. I can't believe she's still going with the what do you call it? You call it a
the accent, the fake accent.
But what do you call her when she like her whole
her fake?
Not a con. Her
her like fake identity. Yeah. Well, this one just came out in the New York Post. Activist Raquel Evita Saraswati has faked her Arab and Latin racial identity as far back as 2004. Okay, now this is crazy. Okay, this girl, so back in 2004, it started because she told Boston.com that she wanted a wedding that honored her Arab and Latin descent in 2004. But her mom has told the media that the family is as white as driven snow. Her mom is German and British, and her father was Italian. And she came out posting tweets and a post saying that this whole latest thing is an attack on her, but now she's deleted those posts and has just made her account private. Everyone she works with, because she was an activist, said they feel conned and deceived, especially her HR person, and said that she was a diversity hire. She claimed to be queer, Muslim, and a multi-ethnic woman. I mean, she did have a wife, so I don't think she was faking like going down on a girl.
I mean,
but,
unless
okay.
you witnessed it.
Maybe. I mean, this is like...
Yeah, I mean, were you there?
Her real name is Rachel, but she goes by Raquel. So... yeah, she did like darker skin. She covered her hair. She has a Black Lives Matter earring in.
That's a tinted lotion. She didn't even get a spray tan.
Speaking of Hilaria, I just came across another video where she has like a small TV. This was like a couple years back, playing a speech for Martin Luther King, and her little daughter, who's very fair because her dad is Irish and because her mom is white. So the little girl's like coloring his hair, and she goes, "Do you know what this is about? That some people would be mean because someone has a different skin color? Put out your arm." Look up what's there. She goes, "And look at mommy's arms. Whose skin is darker?" She's like, "Yours." "But you wouldn't be mean because of that, would you?" "No." "Is right." And she like posted that. And at the time, everyone still thought she was Spanish. So her fans thought it was great. But that was a spray tan. She dyes her hair darker and she gets spray tans.
I wonder if Alec Baldwin just loves how crazy she is.
I think they're both like just the weird. I think they're like they're this much closer because of her deception
and his murder.
And his murder. Like they're like, it's you and me, babe, till the end. Like
they're the real Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah. So anyway,
why did we get a Meghan and Harry Netflix docu when we could have had an Alec Baldwin and Hilaria? Like,
I'm sure it's coming based on what the outcome of this thing is. If he does some time, that's when the doc will come out.
Gosh, wow.
Yeah. And her coming, oh God, she will absolutely go with all the kids to visit. "Please leave me alone. My husband is trying to see the kids outside."
When she yells at paparazzi, "He bumped me," or whatever. And like,
my kids say to me, "Mommy, why? Don't you understand? I'm just trying to make an empanada for my children." Yeah, she is just insane.
That's one of your best.
She is just, it's like, and then she goes out of it. Then she'll be like, "And so could you just go away because it's annoying?" Like she just like will go in and out. And it's crazy. But this girl, I love that when the parents, the same thing happened with that Rachel, remember her? She'd identify. Like she's like, and she doubled down and she had a documentary, which she's part of it. And her parents were like, "Yeah, we don't know why she started to do that." And she worked for like the NAACP and stuff. Dozell. Yeah, Rachel Dozell. Dozell? We're probably saying it wrong. But she, got a perm, always did darker tan. And she looked mixed.
I totally support these people until they take the job with the diversity. But if you want to do this and where you're not taking somebody who is of that, you
which 100% Ilaria.
Yeah, I get.
She did. She took
all those
$10
gigs
million worth of like
those,
social medias and covers and red carpet so that she could be Sofia Vergara. Like
teach you how to make Spanish food on Good Morning
Speaking
America.
Of accents, have you seen the latest Britney?
Is this the one where I did see this, the roller coaster?
Yes. So last night, Britney is in this very weird room. She is no longer in the foyer of the Cheesecake Factory. She went to
Nobu. You wanted her to be seen. We saw her at Nobu, though. Breaking news.
You were there.
Oh, you think that? Oh, I love you. Okay.
What?
No, I could never. You're right. Never right.
But you were there?
No, we didn't see. You're right. Okay.
But I haven't heard from anybody that said they were there.
My friend used to work at Nobu. I'm gonna call.
She did really go.
No, I don't know. I'm gonna do research.
I feel like there might have been she could go to. She was
that
definitely
manager looks like a real manager. He has all these real clients.
What manager?
The guy that was in the back seat.
Oh well, she said she doesn't have a manager, so I don't even know. But listen, so she does this thing, and the room that she's in is like a grandma's room from 1985. Okay,
with no AC.
It's weird. She's got a box air conditioner. There's like a carpet on top of a carpet, like a throw, like Persian rug on top of a carpet. So I do think she's in some safe house or something. Like she's in some place where she might be getting therapy. And anyway, she's dancing around. She's doing the English accent. and she's talking about how she someone sent her a dress because the last post she did, see how the carpet is? Like it's like so like tacky and weird and like crap around the corner. Look, there's just like, I mean, this is not a room she put together. Like there's no way. And so then she's dancing around. She has the accent, which would go in and out of the accents. And so she's saying all this weird stuff. And she's like, got this weird dress. It's, she said, somebody sent me. And the last post, she said that she made these dresses. She made these weird dresses. And she had a friend help sew her.
She also said,
The
made a point
sensible
to say,
brown
don't
pumps her
call the
back.
police. Which
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. Like, are they telling you don't? Like, if something was so scary, that would be so scary if they're like, say, don't you call the police again. You know?
And like even this one from a couple days ago, it's not that normal room. It's just, it looks like an ugly bad, ugly old rugs from like
Oh, it looks like
someone that hasn't
like an El
redecorated.
Chapo safe house.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
someone who's not redecorated or anything in years. So like it could just be like an Airbnb
What's with the
or
creepy
something.
like ballerina photo like that's not even hung on the wall? It's
Exactly what I'm saying. This is just, but anyway, someone wrote in the comments, my daughter's bipolar. This is just someone with bipolar. They don't necessarily need to be institutionalized. She just has bipolar. So she's going to have depressed days. She's going to have manic days. She's going to have days where she takes on an accent. She's going to, this is just it. And she can monitor it with medication, but if she doesn't want to, or if she wants to play with her medication, this is what we're going to get. And that's them. That is a person with bipolar disorder, and let her be. That's it. That's it, people. This is it.
Diagnosed her from the comment section, and it's done.
I don't.
I
just kind of, because I've kind of been saying like this, like everyone just needs to just, like, this is it. Like, she's happy being on Instagram. She took off her comments. She's doing this weird stuff. She loves getting the attention. She likes posting, whether she's totally not free or not and all that. I don't know, but I don't think she's being hurt. And so I think we just have to not call the cops and just be like, whatever. And if it bothers you, then you shouldn't follow her.
Well, I know it's weird that I keep going back to this, and I'll continue because it just melts my brain. But I don't know if she knows, or maybe she just doesn't care because she has enough money to make her own dresses. But
the dresses are pretty tacky.
The photos that she posts on her IG, if she just posted those on Britney Spears' OnlyFans and still covered everything with like emojis, but just didn't put that on Instagram, and just you had to subscribe,
she'd make $2 million a month, if more, not more.
And no nudity. Exactly the same post. Just don't do it there.
Because the 46 million people, at least
$1 million are coming over.
At least $1 million would be like, I just want to keep seeing her
and do
her
your
craziness.
posts and write all of this stuff. Oh, again, if you don't like OnlyFans, Patreon.
Yeah.
Just Patreon, Britney Spears Patreon. Like,
absolutely.
So, like that there's nobody sitting next to her like, hey, you will, I don't know. That's the one weird thing that like all this content, if there's nobody there.
I don't think Sam is the brightest tool. I think he is, going to stay in there. And I think there is some love, but I also think he's like an odd bird. And so it's like, if you put her on Patreon, I don't know, but you're right. Do Patreon, girl.
Yeah,
do it.
If you don't like OnlyFans, Patreon.
And go
or make Britney Spears.
I have Patreon, obviously, every Friday, you guys.
Make sure.
I'm Juicy Crime this Saturday. I'll get me behind gates. Just go to heathermcdonald.net. Click on
Who owns
Patreon.
heathermcdonald.com? Hater. They got me too.
Yeah.
How much do they want for yours? I'm like, I don't have $2,000 to buy my name.
A while back, it was $10,000.
Oh,
now,
you're
of course,
bobbing.
it doesn't mean anything. Like, it doesn't make a difference.
No, I know.
It would
I
never
know.
make a difference.
They'll email me like once a month. They're like, we'll give you a deal, $1,900. I'm like, I don't have anything I would like to put on censorbrad.com. You just sit on that for life.
Right, exactly.
I had it too. It was so frustrating. Okay, yeah. Go to heathermcdonald.net.
Yes, and click on Patreon. Yes. But you're right. Because this is it. She's not going to go on tour again. She's probably not going to create new music anytime soon.
So much
Maybe
more
in a while,
money.
but no time soon.
She could fund the album herself. She could have she could buy Max Martin tracks out of her pocket. $500,000.
Just follow me.
Yeah, follow my daily
Follow
posts.
me for $10 a month.
Yeah, you can see my fashion hauls.
See me walk a dog with an English accent.
Every single all her haters are coming. She doesn't have to say $10.
You know, I'm going to be paying.
Everyone.
Because I talk about her at least
all the
3
media
times a
outlets are
month.
going to have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Entertainment Tonight, E-News, everyone's. It's like the one thing that I can't. I'm going to just slide in her DMs because I know the CEO of Patreon. He lives down the street. And just be like, I'll set you up a meeting. You know, hope she responds.
God, at least do Cameo, girl.
That is harder because I have a bunch of cameos sitting. Like,
I agree.
I give more free cameos than I do now pay because I feel bad. They're like a year late sometimes. And also, I did like birthday ones on Valentine's Day. Like, you know what's better than a birthday? A free Valentine, you know, but that's easier than Cameo. I want to put all my energy into, so don't forget to get Spencer cameos. I'll do them fast. I will. Heidi's on me.
Have you heard about this crazy story?
Somebody said it looks just like Heidi when she was young, or somebody sent me like a
so
side by
this
side.
girl is saying that she believes she might be Madeleine McCann. Madeleine McCann is a story I've talked about so much. This was a family. They had 2-year-old twins and a 4-year-old daughter. They were German, I believe, or English, German, I think. Anyway, they were on a vacation in Portugal, I think, and they'd met other young couples in their 30s, and they were very comfortable in putting their kids to bed. They were British, put their kids to bed, and would walk out of their hotel room and go down to where the restaurant was and have long wine dinners with other 30, 40-year-old couples. And every hour, the husband would go up and check on the kids. Every hour, then the next hour, she would go up and check on the kids. Of course, lots of criticism forever leaving your kids, would never do it. Recently just happened with that reporter in New York. They left their kids, and then he got drunk and choked on some food and died while the kids were in the hotel room with
that's the real story?
With just a monitor.
I thought it was she left the kids because she had to take them to the hospital.
No, that's what she said at first. Oh. No, the real story was they left their like 7-month-old and 2-month-old in the hotel room down the street, but were like thought it was fine because they had a baby cam set up on their phone. So while they're eating steak and getting drunk, and then he unfortunately started to choke, and they said it was because he was so drunk, something happened there. He started to choke on his food, and he did die. So when she got in the car, in the ambulance, she first said, "Oh my God, check on my kids." And so they immediately thought that she had come from the hotel room to rescue him and left the kids for a few minutes. Upon further investigation, they realized, no, she was there having dinner with her friends the whole time, looking at her phone. It's like people are just too dependent on the iPad entertaining the kid and the checking all. So immediately when that story came out, I thought, and she was, they did say it was negligence, and I'm sure I think she'll get him back, but she is in trouble. So this story, then they come back and the 4-year-old is gone. And for years, you know, there's been, again, documentaries in 2020s on there was some weird guy that they saw, and what would she look like now? And could it be the parents? Is one covering up for the other parent? I never thought the parents were guilty. They stayed together, thank God. They raised the twins. Horrible. So now this girl, she started an Instagram and a TikTok, and she believes that she might be her.
Can't they just do a DNA test?
So hopefully they will. Everyone's like, God, if this is Maury Povich, it would have been done yesterday. Okay, so as I said, the little British girl went missing when she was 3, almost 4 years old, 15 years ago. Now this girl who has the Instagram account, which her handle is I am Madeleine McCann, she says she has similarities to Madeleine, including a brown smudge on her right eye, like inside the eye. Also, there was something underneath her eye. I said because I've watched some of her videos. She says I have similar eyes, shape of face, ears, lips. I had a gap between my teeth, as Madeleine did. She wrote in one of her posts. She says that the sketch of the guy who the suspect who supposedly may have kidnapped Madeleine looks very similar to her abuser. No one knows what kind of abuse she suffered, but she does mention being mistreated by a German pedophile, and the parents are extremely hopeful, the McCann parents, that this might be their missing daughter, and they have not given up hope. And so hopefully they'll get this DNA test, and I can't imagine we wouldn't know in like less than a week. Like, come on.
I would be on a jet. It's so horrible that it's probably not her. I think that girl is dead.
But if we zoom in here, the eyes, now she's a little older here, but yes, the chin is similar. The mouth is similar. I mean, it is very similar, but I feel like the eyes are different. The eyes are not the same shape and stuff. But this is also a couple years age difference. So, but she did say in her videos, like she asked the woman that whatever is her mom, her kindergarten teacher said that she came into the kindergarten and she was very quiet and traumatized, and she wasn't there before the supposed like vacation. Like when the girl went missing, then she entered the kindergarten like a couple months later, or like whatever this time. So the things sort of match up, and it definitely should be investigated. And it would be freaking amazing if it was her. And she's gone through a lot of mental trauma.
I thought I just read they have like somebody there like really like a month ago. I felt like they finally had some evidence on the guy.
It's like some German guy he like raped an old lady, like a super old lady.
So there's
some so it's like if they would have to connect that guy to her somehow. I don't know.
If in fact that is the person, but like, it's just, yeah. I mean,
don't leave your kids.
Hopefully, I mean, it will be some, but she's had like a really rough life. She's like, I have suffered PTSD. I was in a mental hospital. I mean, she has all this stuff.
I just don't
Obviously,
think
if you were kidnapped from your family, even if someone was like, I'm your mommy now, there's going to be weirdness in your life that something's off, even if you were so young not to even remember. And she goes, I do have some memories. She has like a couple memories which sound like a beach vacation and like a little game that she played, and like that would fit with this girl's childhood. And it's like the kind of memories that you do have, like your earliest memory, most people don't have until they're like 3.
I just don't know if she should have made her social media accounts I am Madeleine McCann tell you like.
Well, I think she wanted to get some attention because all of a sudden she's like, why not? I don't know. So the New York Post now picked it up. I got it like a couple days ago, and I didn't really know. I thought it was interesting that someone's doing this, but I wasn't convinced in watching her videos.
The New York
personally,
Post,
I wasn't.
The New York Post has really become just as I love it as much as the Daily Mail. Like it's our American Daily Mail. It has all my favorite stories.
It really does.
It's incredible. I love when you update them too.
Speaking of the New York Post, this one is especially for you, Daddy. This family is slammed for a Disneyland ride hack. And they took their little boy, who was not tall enough to go on the rides, and they showed how they made his shoe.
There's a reason so the kids don't fly out of the freaking. Yeah.
So they actually took his shoe and took another shoe and meshed them together. So it's like a heel on his tennis shoe that's like 2-3 inches thick, and showed it as they're like and bragging about it and everything.
Oh.
And the comments are like, "You're crazy. This is so wrong." And even the people working at places say, "We do look at shoes." I am going to say something.
You have your kids stand on their toes.
Well, my kids are very tall now, but there was a time where Brandon was extremely close to hitting the thing. And we actually, before going, because he is the younger brother, and there was times where like we would trick him, and my mother-in-law would be like, let's get ice cream. And we would go on Colossus with the older kids at Magic Mountain. And then like he came out from the ice cream and he saw us coming, and he realized like we had gone on Colossus, and he was like, like, and I'm like, we're so sorry. Like, you're just not tall enough. And it's really hard to tell like the younger brother that like, why can't I go on this ride with everybody? So we're about to go on to Magic Mountain or something. And we do look up how tall he has to be. And he is very close to it. And I had these shoes that were hand-me-downs from Chewy Bravo, rest in peace, from Chelsea lately. And they did fit him, and they were very high.
So
higher.
You were the original.
I was the
Kelly
original.
fam.
And then we would kind of like, spike up the hair a little and just be
I
like,
won't judge.
It's like coaching someone to use a fake ID or get through a DUI where you're like, be cool. Don't act like this is a big thing. If they take you to the side, but like more like just act like we're talking as we're walking through. But this seems to be much.
I would have to see the Chewy shoes before I can.
They were just normal shoes that they bought for Chewy, but they happened to have a little bit of a heel to it. And then, he's getting new shoes, and my kids fit the feet, so we had them.
Too bad TikTok wasn't around back then.
I wouldn't have shared it anyway because I was smart enough back then to know that parents would not be on my side about it.
But now
I'm just saying I did it. I did it. My kid didn't fall out.
I thought you were gonna say like stood on your feet or something.
Yeah. No. Well, it happened at a water slide too, and that was traumatic. We waited all this line, got up to the water slide, and then I'm like, Brandon, just immediately sit down, ready to go on the slide. Because you can't fake shoes on a water slide.
Him and pulled him out of it.
And the guy's like, hey buddy, and he's like, and I'm like, it was literally like a cop pulling you over for a DUI. I was like, can you come up? Just come over here. Can you walk over here?
And I'm like, line in front of everyone.
And then, so of course my older son's like, screw that, I'm still going down. I'm like, yeah, you're going down. Now I can't go down. I love water slides. So now I'm like, I have to go down with the little shrimp. So I was pissed.
Was the spare.
Yeah, I have to go down with the spare.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I get it. If your whole life is that as the spare.
Yeah.
As
Harry was definitely not going down the slide.
Yeah. At least with the two of when Diana took them, they were all tall enough to go down that log jammer. That's a famous photo of them.
Maybe she had shoes off her.
Yeah. What do you think about your old friend?
I just saw this morning. I did see this.
Kristin Cavalleri says, lots of guys want to date me, but they're all married. All these married men keep sliding in her DMs. And she
should out them in this same interview.
Well, she says she's dating guys in her 20s, but she feels silly about it. And she does not want to have any more kids, so it's hard to find someone that has the same goals as her. And she's dated Tyler Cameron, Jeff Dye, a comedian I know, Chase Rice, country singer. Anyway, what do you think her problem is? Just kidding.
What do I think Kristin's problem is?
Are you friendly? Where are you with her in your life?
She's great. She introduced Heidi and I like her forever. Who is Kristin going to end up with? I truly think that her and Jay, they really are a perfect couple.
She and her ex?
Yeah, I could see them getting back together.
You could
one day.
Oh, wow.
I've heard how I just it's weirder things have happened. I think if his new company,
what's his new company?
Clothing line, if it becomes as successful as Uncommon James, so he doesn't have that weird jealousy that he wanted his own. Jewelry, and I think maybe he does bracelets now too. So, so maybe once he has that confidence of his own brand, because I think that was the final thing, is she was the big shot with Uncommon James. No, I don't think they're really getting back together, but that would be cute.
I don't know. Do they get along okay?
No, I think now they do.
Okay,
it was a little.
Yeah.
According to I'm just going off of sources on TMZ here. I don't actually know any facts, but based off of what I was, reading in between the lines of the settlement agreement, and I saw him on that podcast, the old Call Her Daddy girl that didn't get the big check. That girl had a podcast.
Sophia, yeah, and they were flirty.
And then and then she didn't respond back to that podcast clearly because she didn't want to, whatever. But. Yeah. I talk about this all the time. Who's Kristin gonna date? It's one of my, that and adrenochrome.
I have to say, there is a girl, Andrea Lopez. Will you just look that up and make sure I said the right name? That does the most hilarious impression of her. Have you seen it?
Is it on TikTok?
Yeah.
I think I have.
She's brunette. She does a bunch of people. But because no one has really ever done a Kristin Cavalleri before, it's like you never even realize that she had a specific way of talking.
Dunzo.
Yeah, and then she'll be like, it's just this thing, and it's so. Yeah, that's right. She really has touched upon it. It's hilarious.
You know, maybe Leonardo DiCaprio and her.
No way. No way. You think he's dating an old girl with
And
3
just
kids?
to rebrand.
Have you heard about this Kelsea Ballerini? She's a singer. She dropped an album talking about her divorce from this guy and kind of really saying everything in a song of why she broke up with him when she knew it was over. And in fact, they didn't have a prenup, so he ended up getting half because she didn't even want to try to fight it. Well, now Page Six, this just gets juicier and juicier, is saying they've got an exclusive that an insider claims that Kelsea cheated on her now ex-husband Morgan Evans with the Chainsmokers member Drew Taggart in August of 2019 at Lollapalooza after having collaborated on their hit 2018 track, This Feeling, but didn't come clean about it to Evans, her now ex-husband, until 2021. So that's not included in the song. So if this is in fact true, maybe she's got a whole nother album about cheating coming out next, or he does, because he's a songwriter. Maybe he could get his career really booming. I don't know. But yeah, so maybe that was the real reason they broke up, or maybe something else. Anyway, I'm not that familiar with her music, but I think you got a great song out of it. Always, and you should have a prenup. Everybody should, but maybe if you're going in and you weren't big stars to start and then you become stars, well then the partner's entitled to the half anyway, should, but they weren't married very long.
I don't actually believe in prenups.
Okay.
Well, I think if you're gonna get married, you should, that's your gamble. I think the prenup makes it oh, well, he, I don't know. It just seems like
the prenup is a hard thing because it's like this kind of
get out
deal.
of jail. Ooh,
yeah.
We could break up. It's all good. I'm fine with breaking up because I'm all protected or whatever. It's if you have that mindset, don't get married.
Right. Or if you have to do if he cheats, I get an extra million every year.
This is the wrong relationship.
Yeah.
And you deserve.
I do think, though, as a woman or a man, if you're marrying someone that is really bringing a lot to the table, whether it's hey, I'm this, recording artist that has all these songs that I did before I ever met you that might make millions and millions of dollars because somebody puts it in a movie or puts it on a Coca-Cola commercial, and I need to protect that, especially if I have kids with someone not with you, then I get why having it. Because you don't want your kids to hate the new husband. I kind of feel like if you have your own heirs and then you're marrying someone and you have a lot of money, you're almost protecting your new spouse by having a prenup because you can tell your kids and everybody, he's not going to take all your money. He's not here just for the money. We've arranged it that God forbid something happened,
Oh, that's a new scenario.
That's what I'm saying. But if you're both
now we're in Succession.
No, but if you're both if you're both kind of young and one of you owns a condo worth $700,000 and the other one lives in an apartment and you're both 25 years old, yeah, I think that's kind of weird to get a prenup. And I don't think that's a great way to be. But if there's
I don't think these two should have had a prenup. They should have made it. He's but she's met the Outer Banks guy and was ooh.
Yeah, and I guess they didn't have kids and she wasn't feeling it anymore. And now she gets to tell the whole story in the songs. Good. Tell it.
Also, in California, you don't need one because it's 10 years. It's.
Well, I don't know if they were in California.
No, I'm saying just move to California if you don't want to have a prenup. Because, you get... It's mutual...
Right.
Whatever, after 10 years.
It's just... but it's but I also think hey, if you weren't happy with how he was behaving, you could write in the song, but you also could have told him. You also could have said, I would like you to pick me up from the airport, or I would like you to meet me when I have this big night. Because that's what, I guess, in the song, she kind of reveals, I knew it was over when you didn't do this great thing for me, or you weren't there for me. And it's too many women just him and Ha, and they don't realize.
Maybe he didn't know. I maybe thought this is your time.
Right.
And didn't think you wanted me to be tagging along and it's all about you. And if you want me to be there, that's the thing. People aren't mind readers.
Well, especially guys. And I think too often women think he doesn't really love me because if he did, he would have said this or acted this way or whatever. And you have to realize that men are not women and they think completely different. And they oftentimes just have to be told. They have to be told, like, hey, you know, on Saturday we're going to a wedding. And I'm really excited for this wedding. And I want you to have bells on. And I want to stay all night. So on Friday, I would like you, like, not to drink. I don't want you to be hungover Saturday. And this is a big night for me. And I want to have the best time. And I want you to, like, be refreshed and ready to party. That's what I tell my young girls. There's things like that. Because if you don't, and then all of a sudden you were excited for this one night out, you have 2 kids, there's one night out, and your husband's like, can we leave at 10? Because he was drinking, golfing all day the night before. Like, those things, whatever the scenario is, you have to learn these things. And you have to communicate, especially as a woman. If you're married to a man, you have to tell them what you want.
People always say, how do you and Heidi have such a successful marriage? And I always say, we know exactly what each other like wants to take out of a situation, what this plan is, why we're doing, like, it's not like, oh, we're here because, like, we know who you care about and who you want to spend this time. You know, it's very, like, so much talking through, like planning we're going to lunch and we're eating this because you love this freaking lobster roll. Like, that's why we're going here. You know, like, we really know what's going on, and there's no, like, surprises. Like, oh, I didn't know you wanted to do, like, I didn't know you wanted lobster tonight. I know you want lobster tonight. We're going to get lobster.
Yeah, don't get into the game playing. If you're in it,
you start playing that game.
If you're in it to win it, to stay married,
shall get you back. Like, you're so apt.
I'll show him. Yeah. If you're doing any, I'll show him how it feels. You're never gonna make it. Take it from us.
You get that prenup then.
You're familiar with the Real Housewives of New York.
Yes.
You know Luann is a cabaret delight. She has a cabaret live show. Money can't buy a class. Well, this happened. Dorinda, who likes to booze it up, she likes her martini. She came to the club, and people said that she got very drunk and that she was escorted out. Now, her reps have come back and said that that wasn't the case at all, but she wanted to leave because she had a cold, and she wanted to leave before the show ended to not expose people with the cold. And someone from the club then called her an Uber. This is where I call bullshit. If you were completely okay and you're like, I don't want to get into taking a bunch of pictures with a bunch of people. It's Luann's night. I had a great time. I waved to the crowd. I danced. I'm going to just cut out early. Why wouldn't she, with her glasses, she's not 90.
Book her own Uber.
Book your own Uber. What person in 2023 that's just a guest at a show? She's not performing. She's not a performer. And even if you were, the club wouldn't call you an Uber, because I do clubs all the time.
Never heard of that.
Would someone say, the club will call you an Uber? No. They called her an Uber because they needed to get her the fuck out of there because she was being
the show.
Yeah, and so they're saying no, she can never, like, the people are saying allegedly no, she cannot come back. The reps are saying no, she left on her own accord, but the club called her an Uber, and that's where
this is where I just use still pandemic. I would just, if I was a rep, I would say that she realized somebody just emailed her and she was exposed to COVID and was not aware of it and had to.
But still, see, nobody in the comments caught what I caught.
The Uber that you're
not. That it was the Uber was the telltale, and it says right here, quote: "She was never intoxicated and made no one cry. One of Luann's cabaret employees was kind enough to order her an Uber to get safely home." Okay, so now they're saying Luann's cabaret employees called her an Uber. Again, she wasn't part of the show, so why can't she call her own Uber?
In defense, for a long time I didn't have the Uber app. And like Heidi doesn't have Uber app or Lyft app.
Well, what was her plan to get home to start? She lives in New York City.
Taxis, don't they do taxis? I don't know, the train, where they call
anyway,
them,
that's where
subway?
I believe that
understood, she's definitely blacked out.
And I think one of Luann's people maybe was like, let me help you, and did call the Uber.
There's been a time back in the day in Vegas, like when we had an appearance and the club helped escort me to my room. You know, like
Yes,
they
of
will make
course.
sure, you know, like, hey.
But she was just
it's time.
going.
No,
She
I
wasn't
know.
part of the show. And what I think is, this is great for Luann's show, all this press. She doesn't care that Dorinda got drunk.
It could have been a
all
setup.
fine. Dorinda's drunkenness is what makes her Dorinda. And anyway, I find it juicy. Now, this is your friend.
Did you ever have her
What?
on? Did she flake?
Dorinda?
No, Katrina or whatever.
You know what?
She said she would do it. She
Okay,
sent you all
so
those
this
voice
is-
notes.
This is Katharina, and she is dating Lenny, Lisa, Real Housewives of Miami's ex. Since the show has come out, people are very on Lisa's side. They're very
because it
sad.
looked like she was like targeting, like she knew, she like broke up the marriage, right?
It looks like
allegedly.
Well, also he's being such a dick. I don't know that they care that much about her. It's more that he is being very insensitive from what we're seeing, and that Lisa, appears to be blindsided and really would have loved to stay with him and has no idea what's going on. But other people, if you really look in the show, he seemed very unhappy, and she'd be like, "You love me, right? You love me, right?" And he was like, "Uh-huh." And he's like eating his food. He clearly, and she even said he had an emotional relationship with someone before. They clearly did not have a great marriage.
The clip,
Clearly.
the clip that I saw viral where like her friend, Lisa's friend, comes up to them in like the club, and everyone was like, how she was so rude. It's like, I don't even think she knew what was going on or who that was.
Now, how do you know this girl, Katharina?
I don't know. I don't think she was dating Brody, but she filmed for the Hills reboot. She went out with us as a date. It could have just been a scene, but like we all hung out for the night, and she was very nice. And at that time, she was dating somebody who worked, I think, in the CIA. She said at the consulate. And I was like, I felt like I was in a spy movie.
No, she had some husband. She had an
Oh,
ex-husband.
so her husband worked
She
at
has
the
an
consulate.
ex-husband now.
He was in the consulate. I
Okay.
remember like, the what?
Well, I don't know what work she's gotten done, but the final product is pretty gorgeous. And she, I thought this was crazy. She was in Aspen with Lenny at the same time that Lisa's in Aspen.
I mean, it's small town. Like,
and they're both just doing cute poses and looking gorgeous.
I missed the Miami Housewives. That was such an incredible.
It's on right now. What
They
are you
brought
talking
it back?
What do you think I'm talking about?
I thought we were just
Knuckles?
talking about the vintage stars of it. When did they bring it back?
It's on Peacock, and it's amazing.
I was like the best friend. I told you I don't watch
No,
anything
you and
anymore.
Heidi
I'm
need
like
to snuggle and
we don't
watch
have-
it. You have
Or
all of last.
sick kids, milk shooting
You
everywhere.
have all of last season,
Oh,
and you have this season. But this season is even better than last
this is
season
great
because this is
news.
the demise of the relationship.
oh, this is great. I thought it was social media.
No, and it's really good because the girls really
Is
have
Katriana on the show yet?
No, but they
better
reference her, and
She better
Larsa
sign
and her
up.
would follow each other, and so Larsa knew, and Larsa Pippen, and they're like snarky to each other, but they also have each other's back, and then they're like multicultural, and they're girls from all different places, and the backdrop is gorgeous,
I
and
know,
it's
I
super juicy.
I
It's
love
the
it.
best.
It was always the best.
It's best.
That's why I started loving Siesta Key, because it was like the closest I got to the Real Housewives of Miami.
Well, this is really good.
We're back.
Lisa Rinna wore this outfit out.
I still can't believe she didn't just figure out how to stay on that franchise. You know, it's like just take the less money, make peace with
Well,
whoever.
You know what? I'll tell you, Spencer. It wasn't really offered to me that way. And I said, you know what? It's been great real estate. I got everything out of it that I needed. And my career was in a lull, and it really pumped it up. That's what she's been saying.
Okay.
So pumped it up like my lips. So she's had a really good time since it ended. She's doing all these fashion weeks, and she wore this outfit that looks like there's like tampon strings hanging down, but it's just a corset, like an old fashioned like 1800s corset with a blazer, and then just white nylons that stop like an inch before her crotch. And her body is banging, but people in the comments said, just because you can doesn't mean you should. But hey, it gets us talking.
It's fashion week.
It's fashion week. Her body's banging, and it gets us talking. You either have to wear this or you have to say, Angela Bassett did the thing.
Was that from the
And
from
Jamie
BAFTA?
Lee, we are all you. Hey, everybody, welcome to the BAFTAs.
Yeah,
No.
that looks easier.
Yeah, it's either that or this. So her daughter, Lisa posted her daughter's modeling. I don't know why she's has no eyebrows, but she has a mustache and wearing some tiny bikini. And Vivienne Westwood, I guess this is her brand or whatever. And then Lisa reposted it. And, you know, do you think they're going to have their own reality show? Lisa, Rinna, and her model daughters?
No, because if the Stallones, who I find so much more interesting than them, wouldn't even take that pitch. Netflix wouldn't take that pitch. So like,
Where did they land? The
they're
Stallone
at,
show.
Paramount Plus, which it looks. I'm gonna love it, and I love that family. But that's how hard it is to like be
A brand new reality show.
and a family. And the Stallone sisters are fascinating. They have. I mean, that just tells you the level. So no, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm excited that you're excited about that.
I'm. So,
I do feel like what could be fun is we don't really know these girls. Like, we don't really know. And so hopefully they have a great dynamic, kind of like the Kim, Courtney, and Chloe of their day, because there's 3 of them. And hopefully they have some love, but like infighting like sisters do, because I think that's what we loved about the Kardashians is, you know, fighting over a pair of jeans. It's just extremely real. And, but so see what their issues are. I don't know, but with these girls, we have seen them grow up on reality TV and they're models and they have some issues and we don't really, I don't think they're like particularly like funny or need to be. I don't know why they would, being so successful on their own right, want to do a reality show with their mom. So I don't think the Lisa Rinna reality show on her own is happening at all. I think she'll just probably go back to Housewives or do like Ultimate Girls trips and stuff. Yeah. Or they'll bring it back. Here you are. I loved this TikTok. You were responding to a comment where someone said, what were they saying here? It was really funny. Do you remember this one?
I mean, the reoccurring troll hater thing is like,
what do they say?
You know, like pretty much like you're too old to be on TikTok still trying to like, you know, get attention. But it's like that you clearly have no idea who I am. Like,
no, but what was funny
I'm
is they're
actually
like,
not even in my prime for another 10 years, according to Lemon and Google. So that's what I'm going to respawn with the. Like,
but basically what you said, you were like, oh, you're trying to be an influencer. Like, let me see. You left a comment on my page, so I guess I'm influencing you enough to comment or something. You said something really good. It was very clever. Yeah,
no, I got to get back into that. I was getting fat shamed so much on TikTok Live.
I saw that too.
That I was like, well, what happened?
Yeah.
Was Gunner's been sick for like 2 months, so and so we haven't had him go to school. So I've been a full-time nanny dad, like a stay-at-home dad. So I don't have time to like, oh, let me work out. Like if I start doing something, it's like dad. So obviously I didn't stop eating my records amount of Mexican food. And I did recently download a food delivery. Like I got into Uber Eats, which I never did that before. I used to just go to Air One because I have free time. I get a combo plate. I eat healthy. But now that I can get nachos delivered every night, I was getting nachos delivered at night, drinking some biodynamic
now, when
organic
you order
red
all
wine,
this food,
I eat it all.
Okay, but what does Heidi have? And does she ever?
She just has like 2 carne asada tacos, a couple bites of nachos, like a normal person.
But does she ever say, whoa, like,
I've been doing this for like 15 years with her, but I used to work out every day. So like, you know, it was like, I didn't all of a sudden just like get huge. And so, you know, it happened fast. So I understand, but it's like, it was a lot. I was like, okay, I get it, guys.
I don't notice a difference. I mean, you look cute no matter what.
Trolls, you know, they look for anything. So I'm just going to take that one thing away from them. They can stick to like, I'm old, I'm irrelevant, I'm desperate, but I'm going to take back. Okay. I'm going to be fit. So they'll be like, oh, look at you with all your abs.
Why don't you tell everybody what you're doing besides being Dad of the Year? You've got, obviously, the Pratt Daddy crystals and all of that.
Juicy Scoop code. Use code JUICY for 20% off. let's really see the Juicy Scoop team really come out this time.
Okay,
you know?
let's see it. Otherwise, he's going to stop coming.
You know, I mean, it's a long drive.
Buy him
and,
some
you know,
crystals. Buy the crystals, or he's out.
Yeah, I'll be in the comments section though on the IG. You'll see me there.
And then, no, you tried to explain what this thing that you do on TikTok, where you guys battle. What is the battling? Just like talking shit to each other? I don't get it.
Yes, some people it's a lot of people do the talking shit. So it's called matching.
Okay.
So live streamers go live. So you would go on your account, you would go live, and we would match. So it would be like a FaceTime, you versus me.
Okay.
And your audience, your team, they could just be tapping your face on the screen, and that gives you like likes and points. Or if they have excess money and they want to buy gifts, there's this whole thing of gifts, and right there they charge up gifts, and these gifts have the value from like 0.005 cents to you can buy like a $400 gift, which would be a universe. And when somebody drops you a universe, you get 40,000 points. So for 5 minutes, it's like going across.
So it's just a popularity contest.
Yes, with real money.
Oh.
And so there's people making $20,000 a night doing this. So I was like, oh my God, this is the best job I've ever seen in my life. So I got really into it. But
have you become friends with some of these people that
you
match with all the
battle
time?
you battle them all the time. No, I'm not friends. Like you're
okay.
It's war, like, cause everyone wants to be the best cause it's
but
real
how does
money.
it start? Like, how would we battle each other? What do we say? I have to say,
No, I mean,
you look fat? I don't
nobody,
get it.
you get banned if you do that.
Okay, so what
so
do you
it's like,
say?
just like petty, like.
But I need an example. I can't imagine. What would you say if it was you and me?
I'd be like, oh, you don't have any scoop today, do you, Heather? Like, it's real. Because if you do anything like bullying or harassment, you'll get your account taken away.
Oh, okay.
So like there's people that have 5 accounts that they play that like full roasting.
So, okay.
But I don't do the roast.
Like, honestly, you're not going to be mean to me, but like probably.
We would just talk normal. Like,
but
what do
probably
you do
what
today?
you'd say would be like, oh, please, like you regurgitate People magazine.
No, we
You
wouldn't
don't have
even. We
any
wouldn't
real
even
scoop.
do that.
No, then what is it?
It's that ridiculous. I'd be like, "How is Catalina today?" It's like a FaceTime, and it's like,
so it's not really battling. It's
no,
not
it's just
really
called,
like
these. That's what they call it. I don't know. I didn't name it, but like that's how I do it. Other people are a lot of people just mute each other and they just talk to you can mute your competitor and not even talk to the person, and you just talk to your chat.
Okay.
So that I was doing that a lot before the birth, and now
Okay.
I don't have time because you have to do it for hours
Oh.
to like become because you can become the top in America of all people on TikTok live. So
Did you ever become the top?
I got one twice.
Wow, congrats.
I know, but I think it's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But it's incredible. So anybody that's bored and has ridiculous amounts of money that they just want to just throw at me, come find me on TikTok Live.
Okay.
You don't get anything back in return. You just you literally just get me to be like, yay, Susie, or whatever.
Yeah.
The problem is though, now I have there's a lot of really scary people on TikTok. So I'm getting a lot of threats, and maybe I have to go dealing with law enforcement. Like
Really?
some scary people out there.
And you really are scared.
I'm not. I'm scared for them if they like try something. It would be unfortunate if I have to defend myself to a TikTok person.
Right.
But it's scary that
Wow.
there's scary people.
Oh, how do you feel about J-Lo and Ben buying in your neighborhood?
They ended up in the Palisades because they were
Yes,
they were
for
just
them
at
$30 million or $40 million brand new house.
I've always loved them.
So you're going to see them.
I do love Jennifer though.
Jennifer Garner?
Yeah, so
But-
as long as she's happy.
Well, Jen and Ben, like J-Lo, is
Yeah.
going to live there.
No, but Jen
so
Garner
she's
lives there
going
too.
to probably have her own, smoothie and stuff. At
I
Erewhon.
should message Vito at Erewhon and get the J-Lo Welcome to Palisades smoothie
Yeah.
going. Have you talked about Alex Earl on this podcast?
Oh, yeah, I know who she is. Yeah.
You-
She had a smoothie and you talked to her, right?
Yeah,
or you got
yeah.
together with her, right?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Got some clout. It was incredible.
Yeah.
She's fascinating.
So what do you
So
think her
anytime
deal
people
is?
on TikTok are like, "Oh my gosh, this is your life now. You're on TikTok. You like that. You're like famous." I'm like, "Yeah, I want to be Alex Earl. Like that's exactly what I want."
Yeah. Now, when you say like the whatever you call it, the clock thing, what were you saying before, the cook thing? I mean, do you think she got the cook button?
because hers is they're not huge numbers. Like she's maxes out at like 11 million. It's these videos that 40, 80, 100 million. And if you watch, like somebody, I watched a great TikTok, and we're like, oh, Alex Earl, she's just like a pretty face that came out of, like with money. And the person was like, scroll down, find where her first TikTok starts. She put in 1,000+ TikToks of building organic, strong engagement of comments and algorithm, even though we feel like she came out of nowhere,
Right.
people have been watching. I started watching Alex Earl when she only had 400,000 followers because somebody was like, watch this girl. She's going to be the biggest thing on TikTok. She's a genius. And so I follow anybody that somebody says is a genius and can be the biggest anything on fame.
So what do you think? What do you predict her future will be?
Oh, I just keep
Stay on the social media.
She'll just
thing.
sustain this. It's not going
Yeah.
anywhere. And so Heidi did that reality show with her mom, her stepmom,
Which show?
Famous Food. So they've been
because the stepmom was the
Spitzer,
call girl, the Spitzer call
yeah.
girl. Yeah, I talked about that.
Yeah. So,
And how was the stepmom? Was she fun?
Oh, she's so amazing. Heidi
Yeah.
is like the one person
She
in
seemed
fame
like
that
a cool girl.
Heidi's stayed in touch with for all these years. So
Oh,
it's so
wow.
funny that now Heidi's like, Spencer's like thinks your stepdaughter is the biggest genius. She's like, she's the hardest worker. She deserves this. Da 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 da.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I could see them having a reality show.
Right.
Like that's a show. Because the dad is like
Babe.
and
The dad's like
big time family, generational wealth, construction business,
he's hot.
construction business,
Yeah.
cement for So
Well,
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
love you. Love to your mom.
Oh, a lot of Juicy Scoopers are on my TikTok lives.
Okay, great.
They're not dropping. They're not big gifters, but
Well, so
they're
what? They
tapping.
love
No, they're
you.
tapping.
They're tapping. All right, good.
Tappings and sharing.
Okay.
So shout out all the
Shout
Juicy
out.
Scoopers. on
Love
there.
you.
Love you guys.